Hello guys, in this video we'll talk about the 2012 movie Smiley. Girl lying on the bed is texting and doesn't notice I'm touching up a girl named Mary. She takes off her mask and asks who the girl is chatting with, then she replies that it's about work. The girl, who expected that her nanny is chatting with the guy, sits down at the table and starts talking. Then she understands that the girl has entered a chat where you can meet random people. She tells her that in such places people do dirty things. But Mary explains that everything is not so simple and interesting interlocutors come across. Nevertheless, the girl strongly does not recommend to sit in such places. Mary makes the assumption that the girl is protecting her from a certain emoticon about which there are a lot of rumors, but she hasn't heard anything about it. The girl says that if you go to someone's chat and write 3 times, "I did it for the sake of knots," then behind your back interlocutor, a man with a knife appears and then begins to kill more. That man with the knife is called a Smiley because he sewed his eyes shut and carved a big smile on his face. Behind the girl's back appears the father of Mary. The girl works as a nanny and Dad came to pay for the services. A little later the girl decides to go to the chat. She meets a guy who makes compliments, after which he writes that he will have to kill her immediately. After the girl hears a sound and starts to look around the house without finding anyone, the nanny returns to the laptop and at that moment the guy writes 3 times, "I did it for the nuts." Slightly ajar door behind the girl opens and then a Smiley appears that kills her with a knife. Then a student by name was thrown to a new house near the college and Dad, he worries about his daughter and offers her to live in a hostel a little closer to the college. The girl reassures her father and says that there is practically no difference and nothing will happen to her. Another one will live in the house, a girl named Proxy, who chose and went as a lodger, and just like she does not like to live in a hostel, the girls quickly find a common language. The Proxy invites Ashley to a party in the evening. He agrees and walked along the way to the party, worries about doubts, and the Proxy herself knows practically nothing about the party, but nevertheless calms her new girlfriend. Also, the girl is interested in whether she smokes weed. She answers no, but she's not sure. She agreed to try explaining this by saying that school is behind her, adult life has already begun. Girls smoke and then they go to a party where a guy named Z comes up to them. They start a dialogue and after the guy leaves the girls alone after Ashley decides to meet another guy whose name is Binder. Their acquaintance interrupts the day, who starts calling Binder a nerd. His friends come next and also start insulting the guys, because of which he leaves. Then the guys enter the chat and show the girls what will happen if you write 3 times "I did it for knots." The victim was that babysitter Ashley, as she was frightened when she saw this, but they start laughing. The Proxy explains to the girls that most likely it's not real, but at the same time, she doesn't know how it works. Then the party started in the morning. We walked, understands that the teacher overslept the couple. The teacher welcomes the late girl and asks Her Majesty to sit down. Next he asks a student named Mark why in his opinion the subject he teaches is important, but he does not give the right answer. The teacher asks the same question to the whole class, on which he answered correctly, only followed him. He tells the students that it is correct and logical thinking will be the key to any test after studying. The girl catches up with the teachers and asks for forgiveness. She also wants to study his subject in more detail. He says that it's better not to rush, but if the girl so desires, then the necessary information is on the website of the evening. We went back home and discusses yesterday's party with the Proxy. The girl shows a video in which of the drawn party guy exposed his attacked emoticon. Ashley is shocked by what she saw. A Proxy is also sure that the video is fake. The girl offers to call the police. The Proxy jokingly makes it clear that this does not make sense and let's believe her friends and accept the video for free. Further, the Proxy offers to check everything personally. The girls enter the chat and find the experimental guy who showed his whistle. The girls wrote the necessary and in a second the guy was attacked by a Smiley. Frightened students close the laptop and try to find a logical explanation for what happened. After the failure they decide to keep it a secret. After Ashley calls her dad is interested in how her daughter is doing, he notices that with the girl's voice something is wrong, but then he writes everything off for a bad connection. The next day Ashley visits the library where she meets a Binder who was kicked out of the party. The girl asks the guy about Smiley and he tells his theory. Binder believes that Smiley is real for those who really believe in its existence. He also thinks then many of the videos with his participation are real. After that they exchange numbers and Ashley returns home from home. The Proxy was just leaving, which was going to Zane's new party. The girl calls and went with her. She agrees there. The student starts a conversation with Zane and his comrades. She asks about the drawing the guy, but they don't know anything about his situation. Nevertheless they are sure that everything is fine with him. Zane takes him away and went out into the street and lets the girl know that the guy is dead. He tries to find out from her what she knows. She says that she doesn't know anything, But the day doesn't believe and walked after the guy admits that he tried to write himself 3 times I did it for the sake of knots, after which a guy he didn't know was attacked by Smiley. Zane says that the maniac stabbed him like a pig, because of which the girl vomited. The guy offers help but the girl refused. Ashley returns home alone holding in her hand is a key, and along the way she notices a silhouette that frightens her, but it turns out to be a simple man following her. The Smiley really attacks. She runs into the house where the killer was already waiting for her right before the attack. The girl woke up the frightened student, calms the proxy, but if she strongly believes in what she saw during the day, the girl consults a psychiatrist and went and tells that even at school she drank table. It all started from the disorder when her mom committed suicide. Ashley says that she is worried about dreams. The psychiatrist believes that the change in life, combined with a personal tragedy, is to blame for everything. She prescribes pills that differ from those that she used to drink and when in the first place. They will help get rid of anxiety. At the psychiatrist, the girl was waiting for a proxy that is anxious, informs the girls about the new corpse, and then they go to Zane. The excited guy asks the girls if they know anything at all, holding a gun in his hand. They thinks that if somehow connected with the Smiley and assures this is a proxy that the guy knows longer than Ashley. Besides, Zane thinks it might be his enemies. Guy is ex-hacker and earns a living dishonestly, and also does not exclude that this may be the intervention of the FBI, and Go says to all his conclusions that it is possible that they are not able to explain the supposedly Smiley some kind of embodiment of evil. Zane says that in this case they are incomplete. At night Ashley finds a girl in the house. She touches her, sees a smiley face. Immediately after that the student wakes up. At the next class the teacher talks about how humanity is probably a simple stage in the development of something much greater. After the couple walk trying to talk to the teacher in person, but he is in a hurry about his business. Then Ashley finds information about the Smiley on the internet, where she finds a video with a girl, Mary, who is very worried about her nanny. She believes that the Smiley killed her. Then the binders approach the girl. Ashley tells him that she recently killed a person. He is very surprised and says that he tried to call a Smiley, but nothing did not happen. As it turned out, the guy did not want the death of a person, but I just wanted to prove my case, so the entity didn't come. In the evening Ashley sits in the chat and stumbles upon a strange person who writes that he is behind her. The girl turns around and notices the proxy, who is unhappy with the fact that if she was chatting, she tries to convince her that she exposes herself in danger, and after they leave Ashley calls her father, but they hear a strange voice and accidentally drops the phone on the street. The next day the student again broadcasts the psychiatrist and tells everything that happened. The psychiatrist asks to sleep well and prescribes pills that can help with this. She is also concerned about what he told her and Ashley, but at the same time, she is glad that the girl understands the meaning of what is happening in the end. The psychiatrist asks Ashley to come tomorrow to discuss the girl's mental state in general. Then the student visits the library where she hears a voice that pronounces her name. The girl turns around and then sees Smiley on the screen. Ashley says he is not afraid and P smashes the computer on the table. At night Ashley wakes up again from nightmares and realizes that she accidentally broke her nose. Proxy girls are having a conversation. Proxy says that while Ashley slept before making love with Zane, but the student prevented them because of the night screams. The next day Ashley comes to the police station where she tells the employee does not believe the girl about the murders because she could not give evidence. Moreover, the police never found the bodies of the victims that Ashley told about. Then the employees show a video in which the girl breaks the laptop and asks her to see a psychiatrist. Then Ashley tells the proxy that the police did not believe not a single word of his. The girls do not understand how all the videos from the internet associated with Smiley could disappear and come to the conclusion that for a creature like what they saw, maybe everyone is gone. Again comes to the psychiatrist and says that now everything is fine. But nevertheless she does not refuse words said earlier and reports that perhaps he is not confusing the real with the real. The psychiatrist thinks that the girl is fine and she is on the mend. Binder helps and went with the laptop and allows her to use her girl thanks to the guy, and they start kissing, but a proxy runs into the room who is going to leave for a while to her parents. In the evening the girl communicates with dad and then the proxy calls her, then tells Ashley that she can't contact Zane if she wants to go to his house and find out what happened, taking a binder with her on the street. The girl calls the guy but he doesn't pick up the phone and she leaves a message and then knocks on Zane Ashley's door. Understands that the doors are hidden. The girl enters the house and sees the inscription "I did it for the sake of knots." The student continues to inspect the house and find the body of a dead guy. Next she picks up his gun and leaves the house on the street. Ashley calls the police. They understand who is calling them and start joking, but communication the girl suddenly breaks off. runs home and tells the proxy about what her friend saw and asks call 911 but they went against it. She asks the proxy to call a Smiley. This fulfills her request. Ashley starts to follow the door and sees a shadow. The girl shoots without waiting until it opens. She approaches the body and sees a wounded Binder. The student explains that she didn't want this but suddenly finishes off the guy's smile. Why Ashley runs away to the second floor and closes in the room. Soon several killers enter it and go jumping out the window, because of which it smashes to death. Then people take off their masks. Under them turn out to be all those who died at the hands of the Smiley. Proxy saw this and began to rejoice. In the house also comes alive Binder, who is at the same time with sick maniacs. Moreover, he is there in Spire. They want the image of the Smiley to go down in history. Everyone disagrees except for Zane, who talks to the proxy. He jokingly writes her 3 times, "I did it for the sake of knots." A few seconds later he appears with Miley behind the girl and instantly kills her. On this movie ends for today. All the guys, don't forget subscribe to not miss new videos. Thanks for watching.